is in Texas, it's against the law to get a tattoo before you're 18.
Huh.
And so we want people to understand that if they see a child getting a tattoo, they can call this number, because a lot of times that should be a red flag that something is not right. And that's the other thing, is really educating and making people aware that there are predatory signs, and then what exactly are they, so that you can be prepared to see them. And when you do see them, what should you do? How should you respond? We also, NRG Park became the first no trafficking zone, the first entertainment and sports venue in the world to become a no trafficking zone. They were the leaders on that. And then the Houston Texans were the first NFL team. And then the Houston Rodeo was the first rodeo. And so we do undercover initiatives and operations with law enforcement to make sure while there are these events, we know that exploitation and trafficking can happen. There's an intersection with them, to make sure that we're keeping the community safe. It's just a really amazing thing to see what Texas is doing with their law enforcement, their government, their education system. We've seen here that people have put their politics aside, which they should. It's not about party policies. It should be about humanity and how are we going to rise up and protect children and people while we hold perpetrators accountable. And one of the only ways we're going to do it is if we put systems in place to protect the vulnerable and to make sure that these perpetrators and predators are held accountable and do go to jail.
That's actually a really Catholic attitude there, to put the humanity first and politics aside. Not Democrat, not Republican. We're here for human dignity, which is what God values. And so, if there were one message that you would want the listeners to take away, or one action you would want them to do, I mean, especially for those who are just becoming aware of the issue and maybe going to see the movie tomorrow for the first time, what would that message or action be?
The biggest message I think would be, and this is within all of our legislation, is digital trafficking. 7 billion people are on the planet. They have an access to your children while they are at home. So many kids are being exploited right while they're sitting on the couch next to their parents, next to their families. We really need to educate our kids on boundaries, and that make it so when kids feel uncomfortable, right away they say something, and that we've trained our children. I grew up with this too. Always be polite. Don't ever, make somebody uncomfortable. So if little Bobby or little Susie's asked to sit on somebody's lap, you don't say no and be rude. When we really have to teach our children boundaries, to say, I don't feel comfortable doing that. Because once they have this technological device that 7 billion people on the planet also have, predators really are starting to look at it. Child pornography, CSAM, child sexual assault material, it's a $21 billion industry, and that's just what we know about. Over half of those IP addresses come from the United States of America. So we have to just educate our society and nation on how do we make our kids strong enough where when they're being manipulated, and they don't even realize that they're being manipulated, because a predator's job is to prey. It's that we can show our kids, this is what this means, whether it's another friend, their age, which is a little girl, a little boy, an older person, a family member, someone that works in a hospital, that it is okay to say, I don't feel comfortable. And whoever you're saying that to, if they don't accept you, then they're people that they shouldn't be around. And lastly is that your kids, encourage them to tell you everything, even if it's going to make you mad, or to have a text message that's like a simple one sentence if they're at a party and things get out of control. It's something really simple. I wish I had a cup of coffee right now, so that your parents know, okay, my child needs help. And I say this because these are the things that our youth are really going through. They have such different pressures than we do. all they've ever learned to do is communicate through a screen, because we've indoctrinated them into this kind of communication. So us as adults, we have to get educated on understanding that language so that we can protect our youth.
The website is notraffickingzone.org, and you can go there right now for resources about what to do if you see something about human trafficking, you suspect some human trafficking, or you want to learn more. I highly encourage you, go to notraffickingzone.org. Jacqueline Alludo, thank you very much for joining us here on the Catholic Lunch Break on July 3rd.
Thank you so much. You have a wonderful 4th of July.
And you too. God bless America. And so that is the interview that we did with Jacqueline Alludo. That's kind of a picture, a snapshot of the human trafficking issue here in Houston. So we're raising awareness for this, and the movie tomorrow, Sound of Freedom, starring Jim Caviezel, it's got Eduardo Verástegui in it, Amira Sorvino. It's actually looks really good. It's being distributed by Angel Studios. Angel Studios, the makers of The Chosen, so you probably are familiar with them. If you go to angel.com, they've set up this really great website where you can purchase tickets for yourself. You can purchase tickets for somebody else by paying it forward. That's the Angel Studios model there. And they also have a button on there. I'm looking at it right now. They have a button on there where you can claim free tickets for yourself. But to boost Catholic radio, Guadalupe radio here in Houston, our good friend Larry Massey, president of Scanlon Foundation, on his own. This is Larry in his personal, whatever you call it. He is donating these tickets himself to you. To go see this movie. We've got people from the Order of Malta that have been working on this movie, that have been promoting it here in Houston, and we want as many people to go as possible in this area. So if you are interested in getting free tickets from Larry Massey, please email me and tell me how many you can. There is a limited number, but I think we can accommodate most of you, so don't be afraid. Email me, tim@grnonline.com. tim@grnonline.com, and I will make sure that you get those movie tickets. There are showings starting tomorrow, but I think going on throughout the rest of the week as well, and probably beyond that. It is a big movie. So email tim@grnonline.com. Tell me you're asking about the Sound of Freedom movie tickets, and then I will connect with you and get you those tickets. tim@grnonline.com. And if you missed that, just go to our website, the Guadalupe Radio Network website. You are listening to the Catholic Lunch Break, where we catch up on everything Catholic in Houston. And every month we have our Smells and Bells on the Liturgy segment with Father Stephen Reynolds, the pastor of St. Elizabeth Ann Seton. We will dive into that. Feast of St. Thomas, Precious Blood for the month of July, St. Maria Goretti, and even patriotism and the liturgy, coming up right after this on AM 1430.
Cafe Catholica, the popular young adult speaker series, is returning this coming July. All young adults are invited to join us at St. Anne Catholic Church to hear our dynamic speakers starting on July 10th with Cardinal DiNardo, July 17th with Brian Butler, and July 24th with Paul George. The nights will run from 5:15 to 9:15 p.m. and include confession, mass, dinner, and the talk. Registration is free, but donations are accepted. For more information, go to cafecatholica.com.
Active shooter events have become all too common across the country. They are unpredictable and evolve quickly. Knowing how to properly respond to an active shooter can be the difference between life and death. I'm Deputy Barry Curtis of Harris County Constable Precinct 5. Our certified instructors conduct free trainings on how you should respond to an active shooter to save lives. We also have other programs for kids, teens, and adults, all for free. Just contact Harris County Constable Precinct 5 to bring this active shooter or other programs to your school, church, or business.
Greetings, I am Dr. Christopher Pichon. It's a Peter Clave Incorporated, a family organization, a Catholic organization with ages from 7 to 100 plus. Please visit our website at kofpc.org and learn more about us. We do a lot of great work in our parishes and community, and we need you. Consider joining. Let God direct your path. kofpc.org.
Listen to The Spirit World with Debbie Georgianni and Adam Bly.
Demonic activity appears to be on the rise. I'm Debbie Georgianni, and I invite you to join Adam Bly and me this weekend for The Spirit World.
On The Spirit World, we offer a Catholic perspective on angels, demons, and how the spiritual and physical worlds interact.
Saturdays at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern on the Guadalupe Radio Network and other EWTN radio affiliates. Visit grnonline.com/spiritworld.
The phrase God and country